Hi guys, welcome to Involve Innovation YouTube channel. In this video, we will see about Ruby programming language. Ruby is a dynamic, reflective, object-oriented general-purpose programming language developed by Yukihiro Matsumoto. Except block, everything in Ruby is object. We can even give an object reference to block using proc. We will see more about proc whenever we are discussing about code blocks. Here, the prerequisite for this video is nothing like if you have prior programming knowledge like Java, JavaScript or any object-oriented programming, that will be added advantage. If you don't have any programming language experience, that's also fine, because I will try to cover the basics and then followed by it, I will try to cover the object-oriented principles and then I will go towards the advanced concept. And here I will try to be more comprehensive. And I have already written the code, so I will be just copy and pasting the code block and try to explain it rather than typing on screen. All the code and everything you are seeing in this video tutorial will be available in the GitHub link, the link of which I gave in the description. The contents in this video, we will cover this in 3 different chapters. First chapter is basics. In the basics, we will see about data type, what are the different data types available in Ruby, and what are the different operators available in Ruby, and what is symbol, and we will see about the conditional statements in Ruby, and we will see about the loops in Ruby. And then followed by it, we will see about like object-oriented programming concepts such as what is class, what is object, and what is abstraction, what is inheritance, and what is polymorphism and encapsulation. And we will also see a code example how to achieve this in Ruby programming language. Followed by it, we will go a little deep into Ruby programming language, that is advanced concepts. We will see about exception handling. We will see how to create our own exception, how to raise custom exception, and we will see what is throw and catch and it is different from exception handling. And we will see about what is inner class, module, and what is the difference between class and instance variable or instance method and class method. And we will also see about code blocks. So first we will see about the basics. Here first we will see about the data types. Ruby supports 5 different data types. One is string, numbers, hashes, array, and boolean. I have created a base skeleton project with all the necessary folders, and inside that you can able to see the 5. First we will see about string data type. So string is a sequence of characters wrapped inside double quotes or single quotes. We are creating a new string and we are assigning it to the variable name. Variables are something which is very important in each and every programming language. Variable is used to store the values which will be changed over a period of time. For example, if you have some description, it might be changed over a period of time, and you can even substitute a string inside another string. For example, in this case, I have created another variable data. In this, I have hard-coded string, that is the TV brand name is followed by substitution. So here I am trying to substitute the name variable in this data string. So here to substitute the variable, you need to just give hash followed by the flower brace. Inside that you need to give the variable name and you need to close the flower brace. One primary difference between the double quotes and single quotes is the substitution is not possible in single quotes, whereas the substitution is possible in double quotes. So if you try to run this code, so to run a Ruby script, just give the command ruby followed by the file name, data type. So if you don't have Ruby installed in your system, try to follow my video tutorial how to install Ruby in Windows, and installing Ruby in Mac or in Linux is pretty simple. You can able to find that in online. So if I try to run this code, I can able to see the TV brand name is Samsung QLED8K. So I'm in the line number 7, I'm trying to print the data. So here the name will be replaced by the name variable. So here the name variable has the string Samsung QLED8K. So here in this data it got replaced with this name variable. Whereas in the line number 11, whenever we try to print the data, because here the string is wrapped inside the single quote, the substitution doesn't work there. So this is one of the key difference. Next we will see about the number data type. Number data type is used to store integer, so it can be either positive or negative or floating point. So here in this case, here is a positive integer 2021 and cost decimal value, and we can even store a negative integer. Here minus 23 is a negative integer, and even we can store a negative decimal value. Here minus 23.3 is a negative integer. So we can store positive, negative and decimal points inside numbers. And next we will see about hashes. This is little tricky. If you are familiar with hash table or hash map or dictionary in Python, this is quite similar to that. So here we can give the key value pass, and you can even use symbols as a key. We will see more about symbols in later part of this video. Hashes will be storing the values in key value pairs. For example, here I have TV details, which is hash, and it has a key brand, and it stores the corresponding value as Samsung to the value. So whenever I try to get the value of the brand key, I will get Samsung. So for year I have 2021, for inches I have 85. Here you can able to see the value in the first case brand is string, value in the second is a number, and the value in the third is also a number. So here you no need to stick to a particular data type for values. So when I try to get the value of brand from the TV details, this is how I need to get the values. Hash followed by square brace followed by the key. Here we want to retrieve the value for the key brand, so we are giving it as TV details followed by square brace followed by the key name, and we will get the associated value for this particular key. So here if I try to run this code again, TV brand is Samsung. That is because here the TV details brand gives us the value Samsung, and here we can also have different variants of hash. We can have symbol as a key. We will come back to these examples and we will discuss about this whenever we are discussing about the symbols. Next we will see about the Boolean data type. Boolean data type has a single bit which is used to store either true or false. In this case we are creating a new variable, namely 8k, and that variable stores a true or false value. So here when I try to print is 8k, I will get true. Next we will see about array data type. Array data type is a list of data, can store all the different types of data. If you are familiar with Java or if you are familiar with some other programming language, we will define what data type that array will store. Here the array starts with the 0th index, pretty similar to most of the programming language. Array takes the contiguous memory location. In Ruby, you no need to stick to a particular data type. For example, here we have created a list array, and this list array has string, and then it also has a number, and it also has a number in the form of decimal, and it also has the Boolean data type. So if you have a trailing comma and you don't have any other value, that will be ignored. It won't be thrown as a compilation error. If you want to get the first value in the list, we can use the index position 0, and if you want to get the second, we can use the index position 1, 2 and 3. So here arrays in Ruby starts with the index position 0. Here I am trying to get the 0th index position value from the list, first, second and third. The first one is string, second one is 23, third one is 34.45 and the fourth one is true. Here there is no fifth variable in the list array, so it just gives us nil. It is just empty in Ruby programming language. So whenever you have nothing to store, you can assign nil to it. If you are trying to access an index value for which you don't have any values in the array, you will get nil. In Java or in some other programming language, you will get index out of bound exception or some other exception, but here we won't get exception, instead we will get nil. Now we have seen what are the different data types available in Ruby programming language. Next we will see about operators. In Ruby programming language, there are 8 main operators. They are arithmetic operators. The arithmetic operators are used to do arithmetic operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. The comparison operators are used to do comparison. You can able to check whether it is greater than or equal to, or not equal to, or equal, or, and we also have assignment operators to assign value to a variable. You can use this assignment operators, and we have bitwise operators to do bit manipulation. We can use this bitwise operators, and we also have logical operators. We can use logical operators to perform logical operations, and we have ternary operators, and we have range operators. First we will see about arithmetic operators: addition, plus, minus and multiplication symbol, and then division symbol, exponent and modulus. So when I try to run this code, so addition of 3 plus 5 gives us 7, and subtraction of 3 minus 4 gives us -1, multiplication of 3 into 4 gives us 12, and division of 3 divided by 4 gives us 0, and exponent is something like 4 to the power of 3 gives us the value 64, and modulus is the remainder, so 4 divided by 3 gives us the remainder value 1. Now we will see about comparison operators. The comparison operators are used to compare the two different values. Here 3 is equal to 4, no, and then we will get a boolean result false. 3 not equal to 4, we got a boolean result true because 3 is obviously not equal to 4, and then greater than 3 is not greater than 4, so we have got false. 3 is lesser than 4, we got the value true, and then 3 is greater than or equal to 4, we got false, and 3 lesser than or equal to 4 we got. So this is comparison operators in Ruby. Assignment operator. Before going to assignment operators, whenever we are discussing about data type, we have created variables. So variables are something which is used to store the values which will be changing over a period of time. For example, if you want to keep track of some variables, you can initialize and you can change those variables values later in the code execution. And here one interesting thing with Ruby is Ruby supports parallel assignment. For example, here we have created 3 different variables, B, C and D. And here I am trying to assign 3, 4 and 5 to B, C and D. The comma separated variables value like B corresponds to 3 and C corresponds to 4 and D corresponds to 5. Execute this code. B got the value 3, C got the value 4, D got the value 5. We will see what is add assignment operator. This add assignment operator is equivalent to A equal to A plus 3. So this is also a shorthand operator. This simplifies it. A value is 0 here, so it adds the 3 to the already existing A value and it assigns that to A back. A equal to 0 plus 3, which gives us 3. And then here in this case we have A now assigned to 3, so A equal to 3 minus 2, which gives us 1, and now we have the A value as 1. A equal to 1 into 3 gives us the value 3, and now A is 3. 3 to the power of 2 gives us the value 9. Now the value of A is 9. Now 9 divided by 2 gives us the value 4. 4 modulus operator 2 gives us the value 0 because we don't have any remainder left, so we are given with the value 0. So this is assignment operators. One key thing to take away from here is Ruby accepts parallel assignment. Now we will see about logical operators. So here the AND truth table given us, the left hand operand and the right hand operand is true, then we will get true. If any one of the operand is false, then we will obviously get false. Here in case of OR, if any one of the operand or both the operand is true, then we will get true. If both the operand is false, then we will get false. We will try to see B equal to 3 and C equal to 4. We already assigned B equal to 3 and C equal to 4 in the parallel assignment. So if I try to run this code, so here the syntax is and, either you can give to ampersand symbol or you can give the AND. Here in this case of OR, you can give to pipe symbol or you can give OR. Not is something, if it is true, it will be printed as false. If it is false, it will be printed as true. So here we can either use the exclamation mark or you can use the English word not. B equal to 3 and C equal to 4. Here B equal to 3 is true and C equal to 4 is true. So true and true gives us the value true. So this is similar to ampersand. So we got the same true here. So in this case, B is not equivalent to true, which is false because B equivalent to true, and C equal to less than or equal to 4. So in this case, C is 4, so it is equivalent to 4. So either one of the statement is true, so we got the value true. And B equal to 3, so I am just printing not of B equal to 3, which is B equal to 3 is true, so not of true we got as false, and similarly we got false here. Ternary operator has two different parts. One is you will have the condition followed by the true block and false block. Here, for example, if this condition satisfies, then it will print the first block. If the condition is not satisfied, then it will print the block after the colon. So here in this case, 3 is obviously less than 4. So this is true. So we will get the first block. So 4 will be printed. So ternary operators has this syntax. First we need to give the condition followed by the question mark, and we need to have our true statement and then colon, and we need to have the false. If this condition satisfies, true block will be executed. If the condition is false, false block will be executed. This is also gives a simplified approach to if else, which we are going to see in conditions block. Now we will see about range operator. The range operators creates array from the given range. Here there are two different range operators. One is exclusive range operator. The next one is inclusive range operator. So here in exclusive range operators we have three dots. So in this case of exclusive range operator, the last value will be ignored. So here we have given the range 1, 3 colons followed by 9. We will have array where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. We don't have 9 here because 9 is excluded. So inclusive range operators has everything included. It also includes the last value which we are giving in the range operator. So 9 is also included. We are trying to validate this with the include function. So we will see what is function later in this video. I am trying to find whether the 9 is present inside this digits array. So first we got false because this is the exclusive operator. Check whether 9 is present in this digits array. 9 is present, so we got true. We will see about define. Whenever you try to execute define question mark followed by the variable name, it tries to give what kind of variable it is. In this case it is a local variable, so we are getting the output local variable. We will see more operators whenever we are discussing about class, because that's where we will use dot operator, and we also have a double colon operator which we will use in module. Now we will see one of the very important and key topic, which is symbols. If you are familiar with immutable and immutable concept, this might sound familiar to you. Here in case of Java, if you are already familiar, string is immutable in Java. So here in this case of Ruby, string is mutable. For example, here we have created a variable named object1 and we are trying to assign a string David to it. Now you will see how it is stored in the memory location. This is getting assigned to object ID. So here we have object ID 60 got created. This object ID holds the value David. Okay, and this is present in some memory location. We have memory address to this particular object ID. Now we want to create another object. Here the string is same, the David is same, only the object references are different. If you see the same example in Java, we will get only a single object, and because string is immutable in Java. Here in this case, since it is mutable, we got a different object ID and it got stored in different memory location. Symbol is immutable in Ruby. So what is immutable? We will see that with the simple example. To create a symbol, just ignore double quotes and just give colon in front of the string. So here I am trying to create a symbol named David. So I am just creating object3, and inside that I am trying to create a symbol David. So colon followed by David. So here we have a object ID and that object ID holds a symbol. Now if I try to create another object, object4 with the same symbol colon David, so in this case it references to the same object ID. Even if they are two different variables, symbol is immutable. Now if I try to change the value of object1, so object1 has the value David and it has the object ID 60, and then you can able to see whenever I modify this particular value, the object ID remains the same and the memory location remains the same, just it changes the value. We are changing the value in the memory location and the object ID remains the same. First I have created a object1 and the object1 is David and object2 is David. Here both are string because I am wrapping it inside double quotes. Object3 is symbol and object4 is symbol. I am trying to put the object ID of obj1 and obj2 and obj3 and obj4. And now I can able to see the object1 as the object ID 60 and object2 as the object ID 80 and object3 as the object ID 980828 and object4 as the same object ID 980828. The symbols are immutable, that's why we got the same object ID assigned to both object3 and object4, because we are assigning the same symbol here, that's why we are getting the same object ID. Now if you try to use the comparison operator to compare, if the object 1 value is equal to object 2, we will get true. That is because here we are trying to compare the object content value. So here the object 1 holds a value David and object holds a value David. So we are getting true here. Now I try to append A to the object 1. So here in this case, object 1 already has David. So I am trying to append A to it. So whenever I try to print object 1, I got David A, and this is the interesting thing. So if I try to check the object ID of object 1, still it is 60. Here it is mutable, that's why we got the value 60. If it is immutable, then obviously it will create a new object, and whenever it creates a new object, we will get a new object ID and it will be stored in a new memory location symbols as key. If it is string and if the two strings are same, it is mutable. So if it is mutable, whenever we try to get the corresponding value for a particular key, it need to search each and every string. But if it is a immutable value, then the performance will be significantly good. And if you are very much interested to know what is mutable and immutable in Python, I already created a video, the link of which I have given in the description. So there are primarily 3 different conditions in Ruby. One is if, else, and another one is unless, and another one is case when. First we will see what is if-else condition. So I am trying to create a new variable named value, and I am assigning the value -4 to that particular value. I am checking whether the value is greater than 0. Obviously the value is not greater than 0 because this is a negative value. This block won't be executed. You won't get any output because if the value is greater than 0, then we are trying to print this value is positive integer. Obviously this block won't be executed. So to create a if block, this is the syntax: if followed by the condition and then followed by the block of code n to close the if block. So you can have n number of statements here, like I can create another puts, and we will be discussing more about code blocks in the coming lessons. If this condition is not true, then this else is a fallback. And if I try to execute this code, then I can able to see this is fallback will get printed. This is because it tries to see whether the value is greater than 0. Obviously the value is not greater than 0. So it ignores the statement block, it skips this statement block, and then it goes to the else section and it prints everything and it executes everything inside the else block. Now we will see about else if. Here else if doesn't have E. This is how this condition flow or the statement flow works here. First it will check if the value is greater than 0. If the value is not greater than 0, then it comes to the else if statement. In else if statement we can give a condition. Here in the else if the value is less than 0, then we are printing it as negative integer. If this condition doesn't satisfy, then it prints the else section. So even you can have n number of else if condition. This is perfectly valid, and if I try to print, I will get value is negative integer. So whenever it sees value is less than 0, then it prints the statement block and the flow ends here. Now we will see if modifier. I am trying to store a condition result inside this test. So value is equal to -4. Obviously value is equal to -4. So this is true. So the test holds the value true here. So if the test is true, then I want this to be executed. So if I try to execute this, I will get the value is -4, and I am also creating another variable fdsd, and I am assigning nil to it. We have seen whenever we are discussing about array, whenever we are trying to access index portion which is not present in the array, it automatically assigns the nil. So here this is nil, and if I try to check whether fdsd is nil, so if fdsd is nil, so obviously we got this is nil value. So if I try to put not operator, you have seen what is not operator. This value is -4 won't get executed purely because the test is true and we are using not operator that makes this true to false. The if block is false here, we won't get this put statement executed. Now we will see about unless condition. If the condition is true in if, then the block will be executed. Opposite to that is if the condition is false, then this block will be executed. Here in this case, I am using unless followed by the condition followed by the block of code and then else followed by the block of code, and it ends here. Unless x value is 1, modulus of 2 will give us the remainder value 1. Here this condition doesn't satisfy. Here the condition is false. If I try to execute this code, I will get x is odd. That is purely because this condition is false. If the condition is false, then this block will get executed. So we have seen what is unless. So unless also has a statement. So here put x is not 1 unless x is not equivalent to 1. This condition is false. So if this condition is false, that means this block will get executed in unless. So the correct one is x is 1. So if I try to execute this code, I got the value x is 1. So if I change x equal to 1, then this won't get printed. Now we will see about case. The case is similar to switch. If I try to execute this code, I can able to see it is a laminar flow. That is purely because here we are using the inclusive range. We already seen what is inclusive range whenever we are discussing operators. Creates array starting from 0 to 2000. 2000 is inclusive, and here in this case it creates array 2001 to 4000. 4000 is inclusive, and here the range is given with the value 5. So here we are assigning the value 5 to the variable range. So this range will get compared to this when blocks, and if it is matching, then the particular statement will execute it. So here we can able to see the 5 is present inside 0 to 2000. So we got a laminar flow. So if it is something 2002, we can able to see can be either laminar or turbulent flow, AC. And I will just give some string str, and here inside of instead of this I will try to put str, and here instead of this I will try to put str, and here is stp, and here is str, and no condition, and here instead of range I will just try to give AC. Now if I try to execute this code, I got str. I have created a variable named AC and I have assigned the value str to it, and this value will be compared to this when blocks. So here this first when block has the value sto, and the AC is not equivalent to sto, then this block will get skipped. So here we have second block. Here the block has str, so the AC is str and it is equivalent to this block. It executes the code inside this particular block, so we got str got printed. So this is case in Ruby in conditional statements. So there are 3 loop statements in Ruby. One is while, next one is until, and the third one is for. So while is something, it will get executed if the condition is true, and it will keep on executing till the condition becomes false. If the condition becomes false, then that will get terminated. In the case of until, it will execute until the condition becomes true. Once the condition becomes true, it will get terminated. For run for predefined number of time. Either it can run through the array, or it can run through particular range, or it can run through some condition. So first we will see about while. So now we have balance equal to 5000 and debit equal to 1000. We are trying to debit the balance 1000. So if the debit is less than or equivalent to balance, so each and every time it executes, 1000 will be deducted from the balance amount. So it will be executed in iteration. The first iteration, the debit value is 1000, the balance value is 5000. After the first iteration, the balance value will become 4000 because 1000 will get deducted. So we have the debit as 1000 in the second iteration, balance as 4000 in the second iteration, and in the third iteration the balance will become 3000, the fourth iteration the balance will become 2000, the fifth iteration the balance will become 1000, and the sixth iteration the balance will become 0, and this condition will become false, and this while loop will get terminated. We will try to run this code. first block, I got account is debited by 1000 and the balance is 4000 and 3000, 2000 and 1000 and the balance becomes 0, and then the condition terminates. There are two different while loops in Ruby, that is, one is entry checked and the next one is exit checked. The entry check will evaluate the condition first. If the condition satisfies, then it will execute the block. So here if the condition is false in the first iteration, it won't even execute the first iteration. In the exit checked while loop, it will execute the while loop at least once, even if the condition is initially false. Now see, the number is equivalent to 0. We are checking. If the number is less than 0, we are not trying to continue with this loop. At the first iteration itself, the number is equivalent to 0. So if it has entry checked while loop, it won't execute even one time, but since it is exit checked, it will allow for the first, irrespective of the condition, whatever it is. The syntax is begin followed by the statement blocks and end. After that we have while followed by the condition. Here in this case, while followed by the condition do and end. Whenever you see something like do and end, that is code block. Keep this in mind. We will see this in detail whenever we are discussing about code block. So now we will see until with the example. Now we have the capacity as 5 and the current value as 0. So the current value is not greater than or equal to capacity. We can see the current value is 0 and the capacity is 5. This condition is false. So since this condition is false, this until will execute, because the until will execute till the condition becomes true. So in this case, we are incrementing the current value with 1 for each and every iteration. So after the 5th iteration, this condition becomes true, then this block will get terminated. One thing which we need to pay attention whenever we are using loop, either in while or in until, you need to make sure the condition terminates. If the condition is not terminating, then it will go endless loop and it will become a never-ending loop. So now if I try to execute this code, you still have empty space in the container. So the current value is 1 and the current value is 2, current value is 3, current value is 4, and once the current value becomes 5, then this condition becomes true. That is, if this condition becomes, the current value becomes 5 is equal to capacity, that means this condition true, and then this loop will get terminated. In this case of exit checked until, at the end the current value becomes 5 here. I am incrementing the current value by 1, so the value is 6. Here the capacity is still 5. Even if the capacity is 5, it will execute at least once, because this is exit checked until. Here this condition is true at the initial time itself, but it is exit checked irrespective of the condition. It will execute at least once. Once this condition is true, this will get terminated because this is until. So we will get this printed once. Now we will see about for. I have a range operator. So I'm creating an array here 0 to 5. So this is inclusive. Here this num, for the first iteration, it will have the first value, that is the 0th index value in this array, which is 0. So here you can able to see the current number is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So here this is similar to this for. So here we have created a range, and here we are trying to do range for each, and then here this is a code block. Code block takes parameter. So here we have pipe. Inside that pipe we are taking the num. So this num is nothing but the individual value. So for the first iteration it has the value 0, for the second iteration it has the value 1, and for the third iteration it has the value 3, 4 and 5. Every even number it will get printed. 0 modulus 2 will give us the value 0. So we are printing 0 and 2 and 4. Now we will see what is break. A break will break the immediate loop. First we will see what happens inside a single loop, how the break works. We are iterating for each and every num for this particular range. So here first value is 0 and second value is 1 and third value is 2. So when the num becomes 2, this condition becomes true and it comes here. Once this condition is true, it terminates and it goes out of the end statement. So here if we can able to see printing 0, printing 1. Once this num becomes 2, it breaks and it goes out of this loop. So it breaks only the immediate loop. So for example, here if it is covered inside another for loop, so I try to execute this code again, print 0 and 1, that is For the first iteration it prints 0 and 1, and for the second iteration it prints 0 and 1, for third iteration it prints 0 and 1, fourth iteration, fifth iteration. This loop won't get terminated. This break will terminate only the immediate loop. So here this is the immediate loop. So this loop will get terminated, not this loop. So this will keep on going even if this loop breaks with the break statement. If I have another break statement at this level, then this loop will get break after first statement. So if I try to put this and if I try to execute this again, I can see only one printing 0 and 1 because this break breaks when it sees number 2 and this breaks after the first iteration. So we are seeing only 0 and 1. Now we see about next statement. Whenever it sees next statement, this iteration will be ignored at that particular statement and it continues with the next iteration. When the first iteration, the num value is 0, it won't print this statement. It goes to the next iteration. Now the value is 1. Next won't get executed, so it prints this value. And the next iteration, the value will become 2. And at that particular time, this next will get executed. So it gives this put statement. And then next time the 3 and it prints the puts. And next time 4, it skips this puts. If you have n number of lines after this next statement, then those lines won't be executed for that particular iteration. It got printed for 1, 3 and 5. That is because it skipped 0, 2 and 4. Now we'll see about redo. Redo is whenever you are executing redo, you need to be really careful because whenever it sees redo's same iteration value. For example, here in this case, for the first iteration the value will be 0. Here the I value is not equivalent to 2. So here the I value is not equivalent to 2. And second iteration the I value will be 1. It won't get executed. Once the I value becomes 2, then it goes here. The X value is 0. It redoes this particular block. Now the I value is still 2 because we are redoing the particular iteration. We are incrementing the X with 1 and second iteration we are incrementing X with 2. Now it sees break statement. This break statement terminates the immediate loop. The immediate loop is present in line number 64. So this will get terminated. So it prints I value is 2 for the first iteration whenever it sees I equal to 2. And here it redoes and the X value is 1. It prints it again. Third time the X value is 2. It prints again. Once X value is 2, it breaks and we are breaking it here. So this is redo. Redo the iteration with the same value. For example, if you are redoing I equal to 3, that means it will keep on redoing with the same iteration value like I equal to 3.